So, I forgot my belt. Forgot wearing my belt.
It's okay, isn't that the style nowadays?
Yeah, no belt
No
look.
belt? I mean, I love belts,
Well,
but I hear that.
I also
It's
don't
like-
wear belts.
Well, it was trending like 2-3 years ago, but then like belts are coming back.
Old fashioned. Old fashioned.
Trends always come back. Maybe some of these words will come back.
Hi, Tokyo Tops.
Hi, Tokyo Tops and Bottoms.
We have our beloved Shohei Sensei with us today. And why is Shohei here today?
So because we need some Japanese representation
Yes.
right here, because we came up with a list. Because recently, sometimes we're just thinking about what kind of words are popular, what kind of words are rude. And personally, as a second language learner for Japanese, I don't understand them like completely. So we want to have Shohei right here to really help us to categorize what is okay, what is not okay to say.
Yeah. I think a lot of my gay slang I learned here as a student like a long time ago. So I'm ready for you to school me and tell me how old-fashioned my Japanese is.
All right.
Let's begin.
So the first word is homodachi.
I love this word. I
Homodachi.
love this word.
I
Now,
remember you got very excited about this word before. Yeah.
You guys are my homodachi.
Old fashioned. Just old fashioned. I haven't heard this word in ages. Actually, the first time I heard this word was from you. And
Okay.
I think this is a fun word, but I think it's slightly old-fashioned. I don't think I've ever heard it from person, but like I think I can use it on a text or as a joke.
If you said it in front of a couple of straight Japanese girls, you think that they would laugh?
I think so.
See?
oh, I mean, you
Like,
can.
I'm just gonna go with my homodachi tonight. Like, kawaii.
Yeah.
Right? Probably. I think it's a great word.
I think it is kind of problematic.
Okay, okay, so this-
like
okay.
excluding straight people or girls, like to hang out. So like you just say like friends.
Yeah, I mean, gay friends are friends, okay?
Yeah, gay friends are friends. Like the term has to be like more inclusive, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. I think it's about community.
No, I think it's about segregation.
Okay.
Ika homo.
I imagine someone who has short hair, beard, very muscular body, tight t-shirt in summer, and they are carrying this like boxy, like huge backpack.
Okay, first of all, I think this word is old-fashioned. I think the new word is ryosan-gata for this word.
Oh.
I think they're a pair because people who are look like with hige, with the beard, with
They
short
are
hair,
ika-homo in a
and
way.
they're ika homo. Obviously, that they're gay from the gay community's perspective, and I think that word has been replaced by ryosan-gata more.
But like I think both words are still relevant nowadays. I don't think that's old-fashioned. I feel like ryosan-gata sounds more rude. Because they have no personality.
They're
like it's
mass production, right?
yeah, mass
yeah,
production.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's like
I see.
cookies. Like,
Ah.
like
Cookie
same,
cutter,
yeah,
yeah.
cookie cutter. I don't think that's a compliment.
But do you think
so-
ika-homo is a compliment?
like someone can describe themselves as ika-homo?
Yeah, I don't think you would describe yourself as ryosan-gata.
I think you can say like ika-homo ga type desu, but like ryosan-gata ga type, like we don't say
Okay,
that.
so sensei no final verdict is ika homo is kind of like standard vanilla kind of word, but ryosan-gata is rude.
I think so.
Okay.
Okay.
That's a new perspective.
Yeah,
I didn't
that's
know. Okay.
Okama.
I think it used to be like thrown at somebody who looks very feminine. I think it is a rude word. We don't say it anymore. So like it's rude and old-fashioned.
So one thing that Meng and I did when we did this word is we felt like definitely, I think from a straight perspective, like we felt it was very rude. Though I hear like sometimes like gays in Nichome or whatever calling each other okama.
In Nichome, I still see people use it.
Use it a lot. Actually, what I found very interesting about this word is sometimes straight people don't think it's rude about this word.
Oh, like
It's
on TV?
it's really neutral for them. They think it's just a personality that you can describe people who are gay acting like gay people.
Acting like their idea of what gay
yeah,
people look like.
yeah, but they don't know that it's actually offensive.
So I think the interesting thing about that word is like in 90s and early 2000s, it is okay to make fun of gay people on TV. And like people who grow up in that time period still thinks it's okay. Like they can't update that word, so they think they are okay to use it. But I think like maybe like early 30s or like below people like don't use it or like maybe not know like what the word means.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So-
And that then, oh sorry, so yeah, your final verdict is that okama is rude.
Yeah, well, if you don't know that person well, like you wouldn't throw that word.
Yeah.
Like if you are really close friends, you can say it, no problem. But like you wouldn't say to somebody you just first meet.
Onakama, this word, I think it just means friends, we're peers. I often think people use this kind of word when they're in like a public space. So when they don't want to yell like, I'm gay,
Yes.
just trying to be like more vague about what you're saying. So like, I think that's why people just say, don't say gay. I think it's old fashioned. I think the replacement for that word is like, kochi no hito, like people on this side, which implies it's like gay people.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
we're on the same side.
I think if straight Japanese people heard someone at izakaya saying kochi no hito, they would know that that means gay. Nakama is actually still very vague, I think. That's my interpretation.
No, but-
if I was at izakaya, I heard someone saying nakama, I think, oh, it could be a friend.
Yeah.
If they said kochi no hito, I'd be like, dude.
You know why? Because you're kochi no hito だから. You're kochi no hito
Yeah,
だ
but
から
what
してる
else, what
の.
else could kochi no hito mean?
Well,
in,
yeah, like a lot of people, like you're Tokyo people, kochi no hito. You're like,
Sensei, tell us, like,
no, Sensei, who
there-
is right? Who is right? Who is right?
こっちの人、あっちの人、そっちの人. The word itself doesn't have any meanings.
So you wouldn't, straight people, unless they knew gay culture or gay people, they wouldn't automatically think
Kochi no hito
kochi
is
is
gay.
gay.
Yeah.
Okay. In that way, it's really useful
It is a protection.
as a protection.
Yeah.
You know, but I do think like so kochi no hito like already replaced onakama. You don't think that's the case?
I have to say I don't hear onakama very
Onakama.
often.
I don't hear it.
Okay, so can we put it under old fashioned?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
And well, kochi no hito I do hear, so that's vanilla.
I think kai-in is old-fashioned.
Ah,
and
we
it
actually
has the
removed,
same meaning.
we actually removed that from our list.
Kain.
Yeah.
Oh, you're like a membership. You're like a
Yeah.
member.
Yeah,
Right?
and we've talked about this on a video about how certain bars will have like kainse on it, and people probably walking by are like, why would that be on? It kind of makes it look like you have to have special membership in order to join, but it actually just means like gay people
You're gay.
only.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
I've seen that kai-in on gay Twitter like in the middle of 2010s.
Oh, okay,
But
okay. Not,
like I don't see it anymore.
well, yeah. The only time I see it is on bars,
Okay. Well, so kain is also old fashioned.
old fashioned.
I think.
Okay.
So what? People are supposed to use kochi no hito if they're trying to be secretive now?
Yeah, in the conversation, yes.
Yeah.
People are supposed to just come out, not being kochi no hito.
Okay, I have a one word to add old-fashioned.
Okay.
It's called shiny gay. Have you heard it?
Sounds like
Shiny?
Sounds like Pokemon.
Shiny Pokemon, shiny gay.
Shiny or shiny gay.
I've never heard of
No.
So when Instagram got really popular, it was like 10 years ago.
Okay.
Group of gays are called shiny gay or shiny people. So like they are always like recording themselves, like throwing parties, home par, and like go to beach around, and like those are shiny gays. It's every fucking week, and like when someone consumes that content, like they call those people shiny.
Oh, so they'll be posting about it on Twitter and
Oh,
stuff like that. Is
yeah.
it? Ah.
So it's just like basically paripi.
Oh
gay
yeah.
people.
I think it turns into paripi,
Yeah.
or like recently it's called yoka. Yoki means like akarui people.
I like shiny gay. let's bring that back. I really like shiny gay. I'm all
the
for
fact
it.
that you
I'm
want to
all
bring
for it.
the fact that you want to bring it back means which means you're old-fashioned. That's it.
I think like shiny gay had to die because it became kind of a joke.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, like
That's kind of why I want to bring it back.
The next, we are going to the rude category. So the first one is homo. I think it's also the same word in English as well.
Yeah.
Homo, right? Do you say homo sometimes?
Homo's really
Like
rude.
you're a homo.
Yeah, it's really
Homo.
rude.
But I would feel like maybe Japan is more neutral than English.
Yeah,
Then it's
yeah.
not. It's rude, but it's not that rude.
What do you
But
think?
it's still on the rude category
I think
for
it's
me.
rude.
I think it is rude. It wasn't rude like 20 years ago. We didn't have the word gay in Japan for quite a long time. So like when we try to describe like homosexuals, it's just, you know,
Yeah.
homo has to be one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's exactly it. Don't use homo, use gay.
Can I say like お前ホモですか? Next one is one, like very feminine acting person. I know it's rude if people say you are one, like from a straight point of view, but I also can feel like gay people call each other この人oneとか.
Well, right now in 2023, like one can be rude, but I think it started off neutral. So like we have cis male people who are going on TV. They usually work in fashion, and like they act kind of feminine, and their voice tones are really soft, and then like they are categorized as one talento. And on the variety shows, like well, TV like to have one of those people, like because like they can say really rude stuff without making too controversial. Good example is Matsuko Deluxe. Like Matsuko is the like top notch of one talento. Like it's how people get it. For example, straight friend tells you, not knowing that you are gay, that you are one-ke.
Point at him.
You are one-ke dayone or something. Like it doesn't have to be rude. Like I'm on the fence if that's rude or neutral. It's safe not to use the word, but like if you want to say it and if you feel close enough to say it, then use it.
So the next word I was thinking about was hogeru. And that's the verb almost to do one things, to like be very feminine. I feel like calling someone like that they're like hogeteru would be perhaps has the possibility of being more rude than calling just someone one. I don't know.
まあ手ほげとかも言うしね。
I've never heard. This is tehoge.
手ほげ喋る時とかに。I think it is neutral because like only gay people knows that word. Yeah, I don't think straight people knows what hoge means. So
Interesting.
like in we use that word in community which like we know like the other person calling you hoge that they are gay or somewhere in between. So like it's I don't think that's rude.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So I bet some of you are thinking, hey, where's the real gay slang here? Oh, well, don't you worry your pretty little faces. We have some good ones.
That dead maguro is laying on the floor and not moving. It's
And also
frozen.
emotionless, being like this. And shiru just means like juice, right?
Unfortunately, they're not very appropriate for this platform, so we've decided to move them over to our Patreon. So please join us over there if you're interested in seeing more content like this. And now back to our regularly scheduled programming.
So you had rude. Okay, now we'll start vanilla. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think this one has been in the community since forever. Yarimoku, which means like to fuck is the purpose, right? So I think people always use it on dating apps, being like, oh, I'm not looking for love, I'm just looking for sex. So yarimoku, and I think it just nothing is bad about it. You know, it's not rude if you call someone you like yarimoku at all. It's just people's behavior. So neutral and vanilla.
Vanilla, I think it's still used all the time.
Oh,
So
all
it's
the
not
time.
old-fashioned at all.
Yeah.
I agree. Like it's just a state of person.
Yeah.
What do you think about in English? It's called no strings attached. Is it vanilla or?
That's old-fashioned for sure.
NSA. I think NSA. No, people use NSA. I don't
NSA.
think you just shorten it to NSA.
Yeah.
Oh.
NSA fun. One thing I'll say is I do feel people can use yarimoku talking about someone, oh, he's only yarimoku only, in a negative way.
Well, but that's
be.
the
But I
word
don't think-
itself is.
But I don't think you can do that with NSA. NSA seems to me so soft.
That's true.
You know, like it sounds weird. But in Japanese, I think you could be like I don't know yarimoku dake.
Well, it's because
Right?
no, it's because in East Asian countries, just
Slut shaming?
Yeah, just if you just have sex, it's something negative. Yeah, like if you have sex with people that you don't love, and that's a bad thing to begin with.
Having sex with people you don't love is great. Next.
Yarimoku. Yarimoku.
Okay, so now we're on our final category, which is trending. So, first one, I love this word. I only found it out recently, so maybe it is old-fashioned, but I only found it out like a couple years ago. Kuare nonke.
I feel this word sounds new to me. Maybe it wasn't an old concept.
I think the concept has been around since the start of time, but yeah, as a word, I feel like it's kind of
It's new.
It's new for me. So gay people will use it to talk about straight men that they've slept with.
It happened after party once.
It happened at yes, it happened in our last after party. So good.
What a So our Tokyo BTM's understanding, it should be a trending word, kind of like a new word. But Sensei, what's your thought on this?
I think the word itself has been around for a while. Not sure if that's trending, but I think I gotta say this. Like, I think there are more like straight people who are becoming kwarenonke recent years, and like more and more. So the word got popular, I think.
That's a good, almost like the identity, the concept of sexuality is shifting and becoming wider. That
Yeah.
straight people perhaps are experimenting with their sexuality.
Yeah.
That's
That's a really good analysis.
I think
yes,
so.
that was.
Yeah.
I buy
yeah,
that
yeah,
theory.
I buy that. Yeah,
They use us for pleasure.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can use me for pleasure.
Himitsu Genshu. A lot of people put Himitsu Genshu on their dating profile. We're Grindr, we're Night Monsters, those gay apps.
Yarimoku apps.
Yeah. To talk about what they want. So it always like combined with Yarimoku or Himitsu Genshu, because I don't know, maybe Japanese people are just very shy. We're like scared of people tell the world that they're gay, they fuck guys, so they want people to be very discreet.
Discreet. I
And
think
be
that's the best
secretive
way.
about it. Yeah.
Trending. I think it got popular with the dating apps, I think. Like when you see people at the bar or like hot bar before, like you don't know that person well, so like there's nothing to open their secret. But on dating apps, like if you connect that with social media, like you know about the person and you get their name, you would know their identity more. I don't know if that's a trending word, but like yeah, we use it. I guess it's neutral.
Perhaps the word was around for a while, but perhaps we didn't need it as much until we started doing online apps
Yeah.
and stuff like that, right? And
Yeah.
so that it's like become more prominent.
Yeah. So I have a question. If you see Himitsu Genshu on people's profile, does it turn you on, or doesn't do anything?
Most of the time I see Himitsu Genshu, it's accompanied by a picture of a cat. That's what I see. A cat, a mountain,
Yeah.
right?
Or body parts,
Or body parts like a shoulder, because they're being discreet.
I just want to let them Himitsu out. I just want to.
So they're like, I want to be discreet, and you're like, give me all your pictures so I can spread them all.
This person's gay.
I think it's hard to hang out with Himitsu Genshu people, so for me, like it's a turn off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I agree.
Yeah.
I have one training word. It's from last year.
Okay.
It's called Ketsuna Kakute.
Oh.
Wow.
The story is really funny. It came from straight baseball player who messaged his mistress, and it got popular among like straight people, and then like the word is coming to like gay people as well, and the gay people are using it for like, oh, they definitely gonna do like anal sex. But
love
it
this.
became a huge joke and scandal last year, so like everybody knew this word. I have to tell you, every Japanese person knows
That's word.
this word.
I love this.
Now, how do you use that?
Yeah, like I'm going on a date tonight. It's ketsano kakute.
So you say like I'm going on a date that will lead to a sex
Okay.
Yeah.
thing.
What
Okay.
if I'm like, you know, I met we're at a bar in Ichome and I met someone I'm dancing and then you're like, oh, hey, how's it going? And then I'm like,
I think that's how you use it. Oh my god.
okay, so what did you guys think of our words? Let us know in the comments, ones you disagreed with, ones you agreed with. I'd like to start a conversation. I think it could be really fun. Be great to get Japanese people's perspective in this as well.
Thank you, Shohei Sensei, again.
Thank you so much, Shohei.
Thank you for having me.
We'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.